army from the hills of Columbia. They took an hills over you from 1,000 deaths. A cup of blood and blood, pretending for a cup. Guatemala blood, Ethiopia. French and all lost, you're dying for a cup. Prepare for ultimate flavor. You're gonna get some now. And scream for the queen.
Clayton Gottwalls, an obnoxious but completely awesome half-white Asian, good at distinguishing low-end outliers and not recognizing hand signals.
Communist Kevin, dictator of the Asians, always coming up with some incredibly retarded idea to impose on us.
Greg Wu, also known as Seongchul, the coolest Korean ever, who's also good at soccer and pissing off Kevin at meetings of the ISC. He tries hard at everything he does, but still somehow manages to do worse than Kevin. He is constantly chased around by creepy orchestra girls.
Tim Schultz, a stupid failure percussionist resembling a chipmunk, who is known for being extremely defensive of the New England Patriots and for flailing his loose tongue while futilely attempting to play timpani.
Alex Voss, a Chuck E. Cheese enthusiast Sri Lankan with a mellow nature. He will always stretch out one's name to an impractical length.
Johnny Alley, the average kid.
Strangely, Shreyas and Philip Shelton did not arrive. Philip was not expected,
I'm biased.
but Shreyas should have remembered the message and come. I randomly and conveniently remembered to check my piece of crap off-brand Who the Hell Has Heard of This Cell Phone. I presumed its estimated value with due inflation of 2030 was about $3.95. So anyway, I checked it and saw one missed call. Too lazy to plow through the useless user interface, I called my voicemail. The freaky computer lady voice said,
You have 1 new messages.
I pressed 1 to listen.
Zane, help. Oh God.
I immediately recognized the monotone voice of Shreyas and thought that maybe I should have helped him out in his time of need. Should I call him? Nah, he's probably dead by now.
Dudes! Well, since I am the leader, you shall all bow down to me and do whatever I tell you to,
Said Communist Kevin.
Ching chong nonsense.
Voz mumbled, as the rest of us thought the same thing. Kevin aggressively punched Voz because he was deeply offended.
Anyway, as I was saying, you will all need to obey.
Does anyone know what happened to Shreyas? Asked Greg. Well, I think he died, I said blatantly.
Okay, moving on.
Then everyone froze. In the distance, we saw 2 bright figures moving towards us. They neared, and we saw that 2 people were dressed in Ku Klux Klan outfits, obviously Randy and Edna.
Randy.
They walked past us and stopped at Voz for a brief moment, staring at him in disgust, before moving on to their meeting in the woods. Surprisingly, I really could have seen that coming, I said. I think Shreyas is still alive, said Greg. We need to go save him. Communist Kevin, once again, came up with an obscure plan, which involved all of us getting killed except for him. We continued brainstorming and debating for many more hours until we realized that the sun had risen. I checked my cell phone. It was 7:45 a.m. We had debated for 4 hours. What a complete waste of time. I looked about and saw the red-throated loon once again gliding in the skies, without a care in the world. Suddenly, we saw a yellow figure approach.
It's the Chu Chucks Chan!
Shouted Kevin.
They're coming to slaughter the Asians! Calm down, Kevin. It's just a school bus.
Said Clayton.
Strange that the school would still function during a zombie apocalypse.
Said Alex. Bus 109 pulled up in front of us, and out popped Philip, the only member on the bus. Philip! Groaned Voz in a mellow tone. Philip, were you the only one on the bus? I asked. Philip looked back cluelessly, for he had failed to acknowledge other human life other than the small group of Asians. I guess so. I looked over to the bus driver. He looked subtly different, It took me a few seconds to realize it, but he had the same features my parents had. He was a zombie. Apparently, zombies must still be sentient. Before I could do anything, Kevin ran up the steps of the bus and grabbed a zombie, lifting him into midair. In a split second, the zombie was on the other side of the road, and there was broken glass through a window.
Everyone, get in, quick!
He shouted. Without thinking, everyone ran in except for Philip. Why should I get back on the bus? Questioned Philip. That is highly illogical, for I was just on it. Besides, I'm at school.
Come on, Philip, just do as I say.
Kevin, I'm not a pawn. I will need a valid reason for performing your requested actions.
What the fuck are you, a computer?
Not used to hearing such barbaric language, Philip walked on, trying to spare his ears anymore.
Zane, you're the only one who can drive, so run over that zombie. He's not dead yet.
Said Communist Kevin.
Aim for the brain.
Said Clayton. I took the wheel, spotted the zombie, and attempted to figure out the complex bus controls. Kevin, which gauze do I use? Front, back, or run over zombie driver? Kevin thought for a moment.
Use front.
I backed up and ran over the zombie. I could hear the loud sound of shattering bones and the rushing of bodily fluids. Let's check on Shreyas, said Greg. Drive to his house. I noticed nobody was on the road and tried to be as irresponsible and take as many shortcuts in driving as I possibly could.
You fool?
Meanwhile, Michael Dikey grabbed the box of cereal and drowsily poured it into his empty bowl. Most of it ended up on the floor. He then opened up the refrigerator and grabbed some milk, pouring it into the bowl as well, and then stuck it back in the microwave whilst putting the cereal box in the freezer. He sat down, plopped his bowl full of milk on the table, and instantly fell asleep, his head splashing into the milk. First there were bubbles, and then they stopped.